Hello everyone, and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we discuss all things gaming. I'm Kaleb.
I'm Crimson.
And I'm RJ. And today we are joined by a special guest host, Robin.
Hello.
So, we've got a little bit of news for you guys. Crimson, why don't you tell us about the Battlefront 2 loot box bullshit?
Oh, well, this is just mainly a discussion that I wanted to bring up to everybody and, get everybody's opinion on it. We're a podcast, we like to hear about discussions, and, I want our viewers to chime in too a little bit. Send us an email, jump onto Discord, talk to us about it. But this is some crazy shit. Let's be fucking honest here. I mean, what the fuck kind of moment? Shit. So, Battlefront 2, and I'm going to apologize right now because I'm going to say Battlefield at least once during this fucking episode. Battlefront 2, they're like, they come out, they're like, we're not going to do DLCs or map packs. Yay, we're fucking awesome. Yay. Yeah, hang on. Yeah! Fuck them and their fucking bullshit, fucking money-grabbing sons of bitches.
Hey.
So, instead of doing all that shit, they're gonna do fucking loot boxes. Okay, that's cool. Overwatch does loot boxes. They're okay in Overwatch. A little fucking greedy in Overwatch, but they're okay. We've done loot boxes. Some skins, maybe some
some emojis.
New emotes and shit. Yeah. No, we're gonna put the guns in the loot box. We're gonna put the skills in the loot box. Fuck you, suck a dick, yay. Fucking die in hell.
So, tell us how you really feel, Crimson.
Just drives me nuts.
This does
feel...
So it literally...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You said they put the character skills in the loot box. So, explain to me exactly how that's going to work. Do I level up my character normally through the end game, or once I get to a certain point, do I have to find a certain skill that I want to have in a certain loot box?
Think of like cards. So now it's not your base class skills. It's like, you know how you can turn into Darth Vader or Darth Maul or Boba Fett.
Right.
And you get skill cards. So you can open up a loot box and you could get like
force push,
copper. Yeah, you get copper, silver, gold rank of the. So, like Boba Fett's example is he can get a skill card that allows him to, while he's using his jump pack, take less damage. So, like the copper skill is you take 25% less damage. Now, if you're playing this for fun, whatever, the skills, whatever. But if you're playing competitively in any way, shape, or form, you need the gold skill that gives you 100% less damage while using the jump pack. Because otherwise, your team's going to bitch at you if you take Boba Fett and you don't have 100% damage reduction when you jump, because somebody else could take him and who would have the skill. So it limits your playability. And then on top of that, that's the kind of shit you need, But instead of doing character progression where you can unlock these skills just by playing the game, no, it's like you can play the game, then you can run a lottery, and then maybe you'll get the skill you want for the exact character you want. Fuck you guys. Like, seriously. Or, instead of just playing the game for 5 hours and getting a couple loot boxes, just give us your money. Just give us all your money, because we're EA and we're fucking pieces of shit.
So, basically, you have your base class skills, but to actually progress your character, to get guns, to get skills, to rank up your skills, you have to get these fucking loot boxes. That's so stupid! What the fuck?
Yeah. Now, the discussion that I want to have isn't necessarily about Battlefront and this bullshit, but just in general, loot boxes. And what is happening to our games, because we're paying $60 to $100 for these games, And then on top of that, being fucking nickeled and dimed to death. It is ridiculous. And so I just kind of want to know how you guys feel. How I feel is it's fucking bullshit.
I actually agree. I think that if I'm paying $60 to $100 for a video game, I expect to pay $15 for a big map pack or DLC when they come out, and that's fine because that's also an optional purchase. Whether I want that extra new character in a like Mass Effect or something like that, if I want new maps in Call of Duty, blah blah blah, whatever. But I don't want somebody to charge me $60 to $100 and go, oh yeah, by the way, no paid DLC, everything's going to be included. Oh, but we're going to charge you like it's a free-to-play game. Okay, Heroes of the Storm doesn't fuck you over like that, and it is an actual free-to-play game.
Now, Overwatch somewhat does. I personally believe that Heroes should be a free-to-play, or that Overwatch should be free-to-play. I think it was a bad move on Blizzard to charge for it. I think they could grow their base almost 3 times as many people if it was free, just to play the game. And they will get people buying the skins and the loot boxes for the skins. But at least Overwatch doesn't put the fucking, ultimates in the loot box. No shit.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I hate the loot box system for Overwatch because you can't buy anything except loot boxes. So, like, if there's a skin I really want and I'm only, 100 gold away from it, and the event ends tomorrow, well, I have to buy a whole bunch of loot boxes with my own money, or wait until next year. And I think that's bullshit. I think you should earn in-game gold and be able to purchase loot boxes, or just figure something else out to where you're not screwing people over and making them buy a whole bunch of money worth of loot boxes to get one skin they want.
And more importantly, allow me to buy gold so that way I could immediately buy the skin I want instead of buying fucking loot boxes and going through a lottery.
And I think that it being free-to-play would have been a better option. Or if you purchased the game, then every month you get 20 loot boxes. Something.
Yeah, I really like how Heroes of the Storm does it. I really like how, if you just want skins or any extra in-game content, like League of Legends lets you just directly buy the stuff. So to me, and in all honesty, with Overwatch, I have maybe 12 or 13 unopened loot boxes. In all honesty, to me, loot boxes don't affect my gameplay in Overwatch, and it's not something I'm overly concerned about. But the fact, because it's all aesthetic, but for this game, for Battlefront 2, having to have all of those skills in there on top of buying the game is really excessive, really shady, and just super money grabbing in my opinion. So yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that. I'm a huge fan of the Battlefront franchise, or what they're doing with it, what they've done with it in the past, but this is just, I don't like it. It's so cheap. Yeah.
Slimy.
Yep.
Slimy.
Exactly.
It feels fucking slimy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
Now, speaking of Overwatch,
we do have the Overwatch Halloween event that dropped today. So that has started, and it is running until November 1st. And it is going to be bringing Halloween-themed skins, old and new, the return of the Junkenstein co-op mission, and what looks to be another co-op map. The video didn't really go into a lot of detail, but it was something I didn't see from last year. But also stuff I did see from last year. So that's good to see. I absolutely love the co-op content that Overwatch does, and hopefully they will make some more permanent co-op content, but Halloween event, it's going to be a blast, but we're going to do some YouTube videos throughout the week of the Halloween event, and we're going to talk more in depth about it next episode when we've got a chance to play it.
Sounds good. Now, you guys went to G.A.M.E, but before we get onto that, I'm just going to come in a little bit beforehand. I'm going to talk a little bit about L5R and what I did this weekend while I was stuck up in Omaha while you guys had a blast down in Springfield. L5R did have a launch event, and I got to play in 3 of them. I did get my 3 promos. Yeah! Go Crane. Crane's the best. It was a 1-core event, so it definitely felt different than, say, like like the game's normally going to feel. But I really enjoyed the 1-core because it just felt less stressful. And because it wasn't a tournament, it was just a, hey, find somebody to play a game, find somebody else to play a game. If somebody needs to learn how to play the game, teach them how to play the game. Super casual. Promos were given out at random to people, but most of my stores up here had a ton of promos, so at least more than half of the people there got a promo. So that worked out really nicely. The structure of the 1-core plays a little faster because you only got a 30 card deck and you only get 1 of each clan card. So most of your cards that you're gonna see are gonna be the neutral cards. And it was very smooth and fluid, and there was a lot of cards that were like better than I thought they were. Like, I really underrated certain cards, and playing in the event, just by being forced to play the 1-core and play 1 of each of the cards, you really got to play cards that you wouldn't normally play. And so in that aspect, it really helped me going forward to really think about some of these cards that I'd undervalued in a different light. And I thought that was excellent. And I definitely suggest people, if you got a launch event coming up near you still, go to it. You know, you might get a chance for a promo. If you don't want to play the game, you can always throw the promo on eBay. I'll probably buy it from you because I'm a sucker for fucking promos. But if nothing else, you get to play the game, get to see the community a little bit. And, you know, Kaleb was talking a little bit about, well, it's probably going to be a lot of Magic players that play this game because it is hyper competitive like Magic is. And, you know, I had felt the same way, but let me tell you, there was a lot of brand new people coming from Game of Thrones, people coming from, you know, Dice Masters of all things. I was like, there's like 3 people there that were from the Dice Masters group that were interested in playing, and they played, and I was just like, whoa, that's kind of cool, because, you know, this isn't a card game. You know, this is a card game. Most people who play Dice Masters pretty much stay away from the card games. Also got to see some of the higher end people. There's a guy there with a Phoenix deck that just dominated 2 Scorpion decks, which I didn't think was possible, honestly. I thought you had to just purely luck, random luck, to get Scorpion down with Phoenix because they're such polar opposites. But, you know, I definitely got to see that and realize that so much of this game is about almost like feints. It's almost like, I'm going to attack here. It's not a real attack, but I need you to think it's a real attack so that way you'll invest into it. And then when I do my second attack, it's all out. And just had a blast with that. And the prizes were great. I mean, dude, Fantasy Flight definitely did a number with these prizes. Everybody got a lanyard. Everybody got, you know, a Imperial Favor card. And then most people got promos. So it was just a blast and a fun time with that. I definitely want to give out a shout out to Sparta and GameStop for running solid events and making it fluid. And a big shout out to Sparks, who ran all 3 events. I mean, the guy put in tons of work this week, and I'm so thankful to have Sparks in our community, our local community, and just being willing to put in that kind of work.
That is super cool. And I'm really glad that you got to check out the launch events, because since we were at Game, we didn't get to. So I'm really glad that one of us got to go. It sounds like they did a really good job. I was a little worried. because it's FFG. So, but we'll also dive into that a little bit in the next episode of WTFFG. But it is cool that you are getting people from all these other different games to kind of jump in on this new game, and that's going to bring a lot of different personalities. It's going to bring in a lot of different play styles. So I am very curious to see how that pans out.
Yeah, we had about 30 people at each event.
Oh wow, that's quite a turnout.
Yeah, it really was.
I remember talking to one of the guys who works at our local card shop, and they said that L5R has a huge cult following back from the TCG era. So I have not received any feedback on how that event went, but I'm also glad that you got to be able to go out there and participate, especially since you're the one who got Kaleb and I really into this, and this sounds like it's your game. So I'm super happy that you had a great time and were able to pick up some sweet promos. Those look pretty sweet, by the way. I am kind of jealous.
They're beautiful, and yeah, I mean, it was a great time. Also, I do want to give a shout out to FFG. They released the RPG manuals for free for a beta period. So if any of you play like D&D or any of the role-playing game, pen and paper role-playing games, you can download these rule set for the L5R pen and paper role-playing game. This is where most of the lore to the card game happens, is in the role-playing game. So it's nice that they're continuing both aspects of this universe, this world of Rukagon. And I think with a lot of that, it's going to help the card game by having it still attached to the pen and paper role-playing game.
That's actually super cool.
Now, enough with all this card game talk. Let's talk game.
Okay, so it was definitely an interesting experience. Myself, Robin, and RJ were there for all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was 3 days of noise, anxiety, panic attacks, and also some gaming.
That sounds fun.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a little bit to, once we got rolling and got in the groove, it was good, but there was lots of noise and all of the anxiety of like, oh my gosh, we're running a booth for the first time. What do we do? What do we need to do? And once that all settled, it was great.
Yeah,
I definitely had a great time.
Had these little curtains behind them that we could hide behind and have our panic attacks like in silence. So that was essential for me.
Definitely, and it was really great because like there was so much noise at the convention that you could just sob for hours behind that curtain, and no one would hear you. Not at all. We actually had a really great turnout. I don't know how many people stopped by. I should have actually counted, but we had 3 groups of people on the first day. 2 3-player groups, and then a couple of people that just kind of trickled in and out. But what was really cool was that 2 of those groups actually came back Saturday and Sunday just to play with us. And it really said a lot about us and a lot about our booth and how much fun that everybody was having with us, because they came to not just like, oh, I'm going to play a game of Love Letter and then fuck off. Like, people were staying for hours at a time. They were actually coming to the event and spending almost their entire time with us. Just forgoing the rest of the expo, and that felt great.
It's all the cute boys, I'm saying. It's because of all the cute boys and mediocre gamers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it could have been, because we also had a pretty girl at our booth, so, there's that too.
I mean, I'm also not going to lie. With a couple of those stories that you told before Kaleb and I got there, it sounded like you were holding down the fort, Robin, all by yourself.
Her milkshake brought all the boys to the yard.
Damn right, it was better than yours.
It was. It was, actually.
Yeah, and to go off of what Kaleb mentioned, the way that game works, if you register for different games at the different booths, you get polybucks that you get to use in a silent auction. Well, with all the people coming to hang out and play games with us, they were knowingly foregoing a lot of those opportunities to get those polybucks to just kind of hang out with us and kind of chill. And one of the things that was really special was kind of with what we're trying to do, building a community and just getting out there and playing games. We were only one of 2 booths, from what I saw, that were actually doing that. So that really resonated with a lot of people, and that was really special and something that I will really never forget. So I'm just going to say it right now, and we'll probably say it several more times during the episode, but thank you so much to everybody who came out to play games with us and be a part of our community.
Absolutely. I mean, because of all the people, every one of you who stopped by and played with us, you not only made our weekend fun because we got to play games with all you, but you also made it worthwhile because I went into it going, oh, we're going to be dead. Like, nobody's going to stop by our booth. 417 Gamers is right, a couple of aisles down, so they're going to be super busy. Nobody's going to want to play games with us. And, I mean, we were busy start to finish every single day. And it's because you people wanted to come play with us. And it was awesome. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about playing games and creating a community and meeting new people.
Really is.
And that's the whole idea.
Absolutely. We rolled through dozens. We rolled through dozens of games. And some of the one of my favorite ones was we played a game of Coup actually on Sunday, and Kaleb had informed all of us, oh yeah, there are this many cards of this type in the deck. And we were getting pretty late through it. Yes. Yep. Keep on snickering. Keep on snickering. I see how it is.
Gonna.
So, yep.
I heard this story too.
Okay, great. So we're about maybe half to 3/4 of the way finished with the game, and there's 3 assassins that are revealed on the table. So it's like, okay, from normal Coup, I know that there's only 3 of each card. Well, one of the girls that was playing with us throughout the week, she goes to assassinate me, and I'm like, no. There's all the assassins are revealed, so I'm going to call you on it. And she revealed the assassin, and literally I was about to flip the table. I was like, well played, but what the crap?
You literally kicked the chair out from under you. It was the funniest shit all weekend, because you didn't just say you were calling her out. You literally go, there's only 3 assassins, and you turn to her and you go, bullshit, I'm calling you out. And she just flipped that thing and just slammed it on the table, and I have never seen you kick a chair back like that. It was so goddamn funny. Oh my god, I was in tears.
And the entire...
Because let me explain what happened. So I had bought the expansion for Coup and just never really played it. I think we tried it once at my house. Way back when I first got it, which has been a year or 2. And so I remember there's 3 of each roll, and that's it. Well, I just grabbed the cards out of the box and left the ambassador, because the Inquisitor takes his place, and shuffled them up and dealt them. We had 6 people, I think, at that time. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I thought this game only played up to 4, but whatever. So we're going to town and everything. I'm like, there's a lot of cards in that deck, but there's only supposed to be 3 of each. So we go through, and I'm like, no, there's only 3 of each roll. So now the assassin is out of play. And RJ just took that as gospel, which I thought I was right. I hadn't played it in a frickin' year at least. And when that flipped, he turns to me and he goes, "You lied to me!"
Yep. And none of this was in malice. It was all just the situation that just presented itself, and that's what happened. It was great. Oh my gosh.
And you actually sat down later and you're like, I hope you know I'm not mad at you. And I was still crying in laughter. I was like, nope, I know you're not, but that's still fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Oh, that's so good.
Yep. The entire table was a riot.
It was.
That was definitely one of my favorite experiences. So
that one was.
But yeah, definitely. Well, what was one of your memorable experiences to take away?
Mine? Or Robin?
Or both of you.
Okay.
Both of you. Don't be shy now.
All right. Well, let me start with, I got to play Cards Against Humanity for the first time this weekend. Literally, first time ever. So, yes.
A game I've been trying to get him to play forever.
And I'm like, whatever. We also don't have a really big local community that would play that game. It's extremely difficult to get our local friends together for like a game night and stuff like that, so we just didn't really get to that. And then exactly,
tabletops
yes,
later.
And so we will end up making a video of us playing Cards Against Humanity with the 4 of us, maybe a couple more guests on Tabletop Simulator, so watch for that. But it was my first time playing it, and holy shit. There were times where I was actually reading the answer cards off, and I couldn't actually read it because I was crying from laughter. I laughed
specifically if the card was Oprah crying into
lean cuisine.
Whatever, a lean cuisine.
Home video of Oprah crying into a lean cuisine. And like I remember that was the question when I first saw that card was, how does Obama unwind? And one of the answers was home video of Oprah crying into a lean cuisine, and the mental image of him just sitting on the couch with like a bucket of popcorn watching that video was enough to end me. But that also says one other thing of, I laughed more and laughed harder over 3 days than I have in months. It was a blast. But there was a drawback to playing Cards Against Humanity. And that was, everybody wanted to play it, and nobody wanted to play anything else. And for the first day, it wasn't so bad, but we did end up playing it as our only game, and it was for 4 hours at least?
Yeah, literally, we became the Cards Against Humanity table. Like, that was our reputation at this convention. People were like, hey, I heard you have Cards Against Humanity. Totally here for it.
Well, and that was actually a huge deal because they actually had, like, designated schedules for the event where they had Cards Against Humanity tables, and there were lines for it. Like, people couldn't get into play. And then they saw that we had it, so people were like, well, screw them, I'm not going to wait for an hour and a half to try and play a game when you guys are playing it right now. And that was great. It was great for our booth because it drew everyone in.
Exactly.
But that's all anyone wanted to play. So the second day when we were playing, we played for another maybe 2 or 3 hours, and we were so fucking burnt out. And it was still funny for maybe the first 30 minutes to an hour, and then it just wasn't anymore. And I don't know if it was it was all the same people that we had played with the first day, so we all knew each other well enough, so we knew kind of
same cards.
Yeah, the same cards were popping up all the time, so it just kind of felt like it was the same thing. It wasn't that it was bad. It was just that it got to the point where we were definitely wanting to change gears. But we still had fun with everybody. And there was some just horribly, horribly terrible questions and answers, and it was funny.
Yeah, we definitely had 2 whole crates full of games behind us, and I really wanted to explore some of the other games and play with different people and play just different games. So I was also definitely a little burnt out with Cards Against Humanity when we had all these other fantastic options. So, but it is what it is. We had fun, so yeah.
Yeah, the bright spot of my weekend was definitely whenever we busted out Bemused. It was, I mean, obviously gorgeous. Like, obviously everybody talks about how beautiful the art is, but it was so fun. And like the first round, everybody's really like tentative and nobody's taking any real risks. And, kind of somebody won by default who just went, oh, I wasn't even trying. Weird. But then like, 2 or 3 games in and we're just like, totally fucking with everybody, and I like killed myself on purpose once. And oh yeah, I remember that time when I totally cleaned the fucking floor with everybody at the table. That was great.
Yep.
Yeah, you did, and
it was so good.
I'm not gonna lie, I had not. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had not seen that happen before. And you played it so well, I did not even think that was possible. So thank you for showing me that. Well done.
It was a sight to behold, for sure. And again, Bemused is gorgeous, but it's so engaging. Like, I love that game, and I know RJ has talked about it on the show before, because I believe you got it at Gen Con, wasn't it?
Yes, that is correct. I picked it up at Gen Con, and the artwork is really what sold me. And I only have, in my household, I only have the 3 people available to play with. And it's a 4 to 6 player game. That is how much I loved this game, that I bought it even though I know that I couldn't play it with just my family. We would have to have guests over. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And that really does say a lot when you can't really play the game, but you wanted to own it anyway. And it was a huge hit at the expo because on Sunday we miraculously forgot Cards Against Humanity on the last day.
My bad.
And it was a terrible, terrible
Spoilers.
It was a terrible, terrible tragedy. But the nice thing is that everyone who came by and was like, hey, we're going to play more Cards Against Humanity, right? And we're like, actually, we forgot it. And they're like, oh, cool. Well, whatever. What else do you have? It wasn't, they didn't just come to play that game. They came to play with us. So when they found out that we weren't playing Cards Against Humanity, they still wanted to stay and play a different game with us.
Which honestly warmed my heart so much, because, like, they liked us.
You like us! You really like us!
Yeah, no, definitely. There was so much fun, especially seeing the folks that came back all this time to just keep on playing different games with us. That was awesome. And also that one situation where Kaleb was kind enough to go on a food run for us, and Rob and I are sitting at the table, and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then somebody sits down and is like, okay, so I have never played Flux before. Why could you guys show me? And we're like, yeah, sure. And Robin and I look at each other, and we're just like, I haven't played this game before, have you?
Was that Firefly
So,
Flux?
yeah, we...
Yeah.
Yes, Firefly Flux.
Which...
Wow, Flux is easy though because you just read the cards.
Yes.
It's easy until it's not easy.
Now that we know that it's easy. Exactly. It's extremely complex eventually.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're
But
like, oh cool, I have
a,
three
a
free
really
actions, and I draw 16 cards, and I play all but one, but wait, there's more! And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh God. But a really another bright spot for me was that I think I finally, after all these years, I finally understand the rules of Sushi Go.
Yes, it is. It is collect good cards and then pudding rush for the win.
It's super easy to
Yeah, that
play.
was. Yeah, no, I hadn't played it before, and I enjoy games that are super simple like that, and that are there's still a lot of depth to it, and it's like, oh, I have to see what my opponent is drafting, and then I need to counter draft it, because there were definitely a couple times where Robin, you flipped dumplings and were passing to me, and I also flipped dumplings, and I'm like, well, crap, she's taking all the dumplings.
Yep. Oh, I'm always
Yup.
taking the dumpling
So.
then.
Yep.
Now there was
So what was?
there was one other thing in regards to Cards Against Humanity that I did want to point out. That we did not magically forget it because we didn't want to play it with anybody. It was actually a specific incident that really put the last nail in the coffin. And I won't name names or point fingers because everyone was great. Mm-hmm. But we did have somebody who actually came down and sat down at the table and was offended by the game on the very first question. And it just, we all kind of looked at each other and were like, maybe it's just time to switch. Maybe it's time to just switch it up and play a different game. And so it ended up working out because people got to play some new games that they'd never even heard of. We played Bemused several times. We played Firefly Flux. We played Sushi Go. We played Welcome to the Dungeon, Love Letter. It was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely a blast and a lot of fun. And we got to meet some great people, and yeah, I'm really excited for what we have going for us and the community that we're building. And I hope that all of our listeners who did participate in game, I hope you guys will come join us on our Discord channel and come hang out with us in the future. That would be awesome.
Definitely. And I do want to say that I've been kicking around the idea of maybe us doing another meetup, like either at Metagames, Collectomaniacs, or something like that, where we just do an event that's for the local community, and everybody can come join us and we can play board games again. It's going to be a little bit, because we need some downtime after the stress of the past weekend, but I think that would be kind of fun to kind of reconnect with the community. Some of the people that joined us last time, maybe some of their friends come, and just kind of try to keep building that community.
Totally agree.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the really cool things was we were also able to meet up with several other people that are really prominent in the gaming community, and we got to sit down and talk to them and kind of get some of their opinions and hear some of their stories. And that was really special, just kind of not only just playing games, but getting out to talk to people one-on-one.
I completely agree. And we had two really great interviews that we were able to capture. And I really want to thank both Joe and Bill for actually giving us the opportunity to interview them. I will say that when we do go to these interviews that we're going to do Joe's first. And it actually is going to hit on a very serious subject. And it's something that we haven't really talked about on the show before. but it's very relevant, and I think it's going to kind of open people's eyes and give a unique perspective on the world of gaming and the communities and kind of the culture and society and how it's been adopted and how it's changed over the years since his time growing up.
Yeah, so we were very fortunate, again, to sit down and have an interview with Joe. So just to give you a little bit of background, Joe is a very active member in the local Springfield gaming community. His interview, like Kaleb said, was very insightful to his experiences growing up in a world where really geeks and individuals with physical conditions were not appreciated. And we have nothing but the utmost respect for Joe and are very thankful for his interview and his story. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. So here we go.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we talk about all things gaming. I'm Kaleb.
I'm RJ. And today we are joined by Joe. So, Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. Where do I start? My gaming credentials started when I was 8 years old. My grandmother gave me a box of comics. And from then on, it was, as they say, history.
Wonderful.
Now, the reason I am the old school Revenge of the Nerds kind of geek is because every stereotype in that movie I've been or known people.
There you go. That's awesome.
Also, you wanted me to talk about what life was like before VisionCon, before gaming went mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me tell you a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first.
Yeah.
There wasn't cool comic shops like Comic Cave or Cosmic Kings.
Yep.
It was run by a guy named Mike Decker.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally was the only specialty / comic book / D&D place.
And that was here in Springfield?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
But it was the only one. So you either had to like you or you got the punch out.
Yep. There you go.
I said fudge because I know how radio works.
There you go.
Now, I grew up a perfectly normal academic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not so normal, because apparently, while I was still pretending to be mundane, by the way, that's normal, mortal, ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all gamers, for those of you who don't speak the argon or the jargon. Now, I got 4 degrees in poetry, philosophy, religious studies,
Oh, wow.
and politics.
Wow. I did not know that. What? How did you tie all of that together?
Well, I had to do something when I wasn't trying to save the world and promote disabled awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
SNS.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So back in the 80s, I got really bored. And you should never let somebody with a genius like...
I was just...
We're recording in here.
Oh, okay. No, I was just kind of poking my head in here to see if my dog was hiding.
Gotcha.
Okay, sorry for the radio edit, folks.
Yep.
A civilian come by here and doing the recording. Anyway, I got bored. Knew some friends from a local Star Trek club.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically were the first Star Trek Klingon club ever to get cred.
That's awesome.
Well, I've been a gamer and a geek since day one.
Mm-hmm.
I make no apologies for it.
We don't expect you to.
And you shouldn't.
No.
I know, but people are always kind of confused and confounded when I break back a D&D reference in the middle of a college speech. My mind is a little bit like on the Shuffle Players. I can do a straight lecture, but I'd rather pepper it with pop culture
There you go.
references.
Hey, that's the way to do it.
I know, but back to the topic at hand or foot or whatever you want to say. It was lonely and dark and fan pockets. It wasn't centralized, meaning places like Vision God, Game God, Rumble God, whatever the heck you want to call it, con. Geek had not gone professional. And by geek, when I use it in this context, I mean someone of a vast personal knowledge and love for any given subject. Math, music, athletics. Geek is no longer a four-letter word.
Would you say that it's no longer synonymous to gaming? You're saying that
Well,
you can
it
be a
is and
geek
it
and...
isn't. We're geeks. Because we're the old school, first gen, tribal geeks. Culture picked it up. And I won't let them whitewash it. But I will let them expand it. But I won't let them take it from me.
No, definitely
Nope,
not.
definitely not.
Wearing it like a badge of pride.
You got it. And geeks really are saving the world because Bill Gates made the operating system that most computers use.
You're not wrong about that.
Nope.
And don't forget, it's geek that invented satellites and radio phones and cell service.
Yep.
Somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it. And we can't be robots all the time. There
Nope.
has to be some passion. There has to be something that
that's
drives
what I
us.
think people miss when they think about geeks. They think all we talk about is that one specific area. Our raison d'etre, as you will, the reason to exist. But most geeks, and I am again using it in specific language terms, are also fans of comic book art, TV shows, scripts, actors, and people, you know, comic book shop owners, even occasionally podcasters.
Thank you.
So if you think you're a geek, take your flag out of your dust and let it fly.
Definitely.
Thank you. And that's definitely something that we're trying to do.
Yep.
Something that we enjoy and something that we embrace.
Yep.
And we want to share it with
And
everybody.
anytime you guys need me to come on as a guest, if I can do it, I will be happy to.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. We appreciate it.
We'll definitely keep in
Because
touch with
I
you
can
too.
tell you about the old school games that used to be sold in the back of supermarkets. And there weren't rule books per se. These were folio things written on somebody's mimeograph.
Wow.
And the guy that ran it usually lived and died for it. Now that, I don't mean there were fist fights. There were a couple of yelling matches here or there, but they weren't, I'm going to kill you because you knocked out my 15th level orc with it.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
I know. But if I was going to mention something, I would say to the Visionary Guild that they saved my creative life because I finally found a tribe that would accept me.
That's awesome.
We're so glad to hear that.
And also, the people at GameCon are amazing.
Definitely.
The only reason Visionary Guild isn't in Springfield anymore running the contest. We got too famous and too gigantic.
We had to
But
expand.
that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
And look, fandom are some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So there's a 12-year-old first getting his first taste of RPG
Mm-hmm.
through one of those Wizards of the Coast kit,
Uh-huh.
where your uncle left you a box of old school first edition folios.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to take them out of the box
Definitely not.
and read them.
Mm-hmm.
You may find your true self
Mm-hmm.
underneath your skin.
Mm-hmm.
I played bards simply because they were the closest to my life. I mean, I had to play bards because they were quick-witted, emotionally neutral,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
but they were also loyal to their party.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play a bard right,
Yep.
you can just about hit that line of neutrality where you won't do any harm.
Mm-hmm. Just about.
Almost. But D&D isn't just some subcultural relic. It is life.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming and fandom
Mm-hmm.
is a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not for everybody, but you won't know till you break out a 20-sided dice.
Exactly.
And on that note, that if somebody is interested in something, whether it's a certain game, whether it's a type of game, whether it's a book series, a comic book series, anything like that, that everybody should know that their tribe is out there.
Well, go
That-
to your local comic book shop like Comic Cave
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
or Cosmic King.
Mm-hmm.
Boneheads was the first and the original,
Mm-hmm.
but they were also the first ones who initiated a lot of us into gaming. This was before the internet,
Mm-hmm.
so the tribe fragment, it was like being an elf in a human-controlled society. It was occasionally dangerous and maybe a little scary, but once you found your tribal,
Mm-hmm.
you were better. And it's always better to fight with someone than against them.
Yes.
And it taught me
Definitely.
values like inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
not letting what's on the outside get me down.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Finding your group and finding, like you said, finding your tribe.
And
Wonderful.
also, may I say it's a great way to kill a Saturday night after you've done your homework. There's something innately pleasurable about watching someone take down an orc that's 5 levels higher than them with a cold shot right to their temple area.
Definitely.
But yeah, you guys got my number. I'll give it my email off.
Mm-hmm.
Radio. I'll give you what you need if you guys want me to be a roving correspondent.
That would be wonderful.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much,
that.
Joe.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for your insight.
Well, RJ, did it help you understand
Yes.
what life was like?
It gave me a glimpse. I can never fully understand and what you've gone through and how it was back in the day, but you've given me a glimpse and you've given me an amount of respect.
How did that make you feel? Now that we're about to wrap it up in 5 minutes, how did that make you feel?
It makes me feel. It makes me feel fortunate that we have a community that is large enough right now that understands, hopefully for the most part, what you've just described to me. Having that kinship, having that sense of community.
What about you, Caleb?
It's definitely given me a different perspective on, growing up as a geek and stuff like that and a gamer, but I was more, second or third generation at that point, because of course you had been way back in the day and had to experience that aspect of it, but it was easier for me.
You had these people scattered throughout your life that made the prejudice and intolerance, and sometimes, let's just face it, the loneliness of being a geek.
Yep. And I will say that it is nice, and like RJ was saying, that we are fortunate that today's society, that it has, it doesn't have the stigma that it did back in the day of being a geek. And
20 years from now, you guys will be where I am going, I remember back in the day.
Back in the day when those magic cards were such and such.
Actual plastic instead of three-dimensional. Photons.
There is a ring of truth there. That seems like where we're heading.
That's a little too true right there.
Yes, indeed.
They didn't call me the Gene Roddenberry Springfield Sci-Fi for nothing.
Oh, there you go. Well, that sounds like an excellent place to bring this one to an end.
So did I give you guys what you needed to?
Absolutely.
Yes, you did. Yep. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much.
Definitely. We will definitely keep in touch with you, and we'll try to have you on the show again. Thank you so much.
Okay, and our other interviewee that we got to sit down and talk to was Bill. And Bill is the local adventure captain for the Springfield Pathfinder Society. Bill has been very involved with the local Pathfinder community for many years now, and under his leadership, it's probably one of the more active societies in the United States. So also, please enjoy our interview with Bill here.
Welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we talk about all things gaming. I'm Kaleb.
And I'm RJ. And today we are joined by a very special guest, Bill.
Hello.
Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am Bill Loescher. For gaming, I am the local venture captain of the regional Pathfinder group. The Pathfinder is a product of Paizo Industries, and they started out with 3.5 edition of Pathfinder, which is a subset off of D&D, yes. And they've gotten into card games, and I'm really excited about what we was able to release this year at Gen Con, which I got to be on hand for, was the release of their new game, which is Starfinder, which is basically Pathfinder in space. But I pretty much take care of, make sure that there's games going on here in the area, make sure the conventions are supported. If anybody has any problems with games and they're playing official games, they got to come to me first, and then I try to work things out. Try not to get too far up the ladder, but I just the basic local organization, the captain. But yeah.
So how did you become the local venture captain?
Well, about 3 years ago, I went into a local friendly neighborhood game store, and at that time it was called Blop, but I would like to make a plug for Nameless City Board Games and Comics, because that's who they are now. Stu there introduced me into Pathfinder, because I told him I was looking for a RPG game to get back into. I started RPGs when I was about 10 or 11, and with the infamous D&D Red Box, and it just gone from there. And played off and on, had a good group of when I played Rifts in Vegas. I lived there for a while, and just wanted to get back into RPG. And Stu introduced me into Pathfinder, gave me the basic box, and it just blew from there. And then me becoming the captain happened. I became a venture agent after I went to a con in Columbia, and the current venture captain, which was Jason Rader, asked me to become a lieutenant, and the other guy that I was with was hanging out with, he became the captain. The other guy dropped out, personal reasons. Jason said, "Bill, you take the reins from here." And I didn't even have a choice. He says, Bill, you are the captain. You're doing this. So I was like, okay.
You are the captain now.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now. You got it. I got volunteered into it. Let's just put it that way. But no, I really enjoy it. I've been able to meet a lot of great people, have a lot of great games, and I just love doing it. It's been a great passion of mine, and I think it's been almost like my lifelong ambition when they say make your hobby into your profession. Mm-hmm. Now, it's granted I don't get paid for it, so and say, but it's such a fun thing being who I am and what I get to do and just helping people out in gaming and stuff like that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I've known you for a long time through the ups and the downs, and I've really only known you in this setting for what your primary passion is with the RPG side. That's awesome. One of the other things with the Pathfinder Society, with Pathfinder Society. How does this work if, say, there is an event here in Springfield, but then there's another event, say, in another state or something like that? Is there any crossover, or how does that work?
Oh, yes. Society is awesome, and this is one of the reasons why I got into it and decided to take the load on my back, is because one of the biggest gripes that people can have about playing RPGs is when you make a character for a DM or a GM, and then that character's with that GM. And so if something happens with that group, your character's dead, you got to go somewhere else, build a new character and start from scratch, most of the time. With Starfinder, with the Society Organized Play Federation, I think it's going to be the new name of it. They were revamping the whole system to envelop more of the card game and the Starfinder into it. But it allows you to play a character anywhere in the world that a society game is being played. And when I say anywhere in the world, like at the last Gen Con, we had people from Canada, we had people from Germany, we had Europe, Australia. I think there was some, I want to say Russians, but I don't know if that's the political correct word to say to them. But and I've been corresponding with some people, some of our military members in the Middle East who like to play games when they're not fighting. When they don't want a real fight, they want to play fight. So hey, I'm more than happy to support that. And that's a really great thing about it is an organized play system, and with all three systems, the Pathfinder, the Starfinder, and the adventure card game, you could take your characters anywhere in the world, sit down at an organized table, and play. And then the other thing that I love about it, too, is that, and again, normally, session, you've got one character, one DM, and you play that till the game's done. Mm-hmm. With this type of style of playing, if one week you want to play a rogue, you play that rogue. Next week you want to play a wizard, you play that wizard. Next week you want to play a half-orc barbarian prostitute, you play that half-orc barbarian prostitute. You got that flexibility of whatever you want to play that week, you could do it. And you're not, all your characters can be advancing at the same time. Okay. So it's just that wide openness and that options where you're not just stuck linear with a character in a class. Mm-hmm. You can do whatever you want with it.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and again, that's why I've stuck with it, and I've been promoting it so heavy, and I love it. I've been doing it. Now this is my third year, I want to say I've been in it, and it's a typical game thing. Sometimes you go like, oh, why am I doing this? But then you get it back, and you get, like yesterday, the Starfinder game we had here at GameCon. The players there were just awesome. We got into it. People were having fun, and that's what keeps me in it. And it's just knowing that I can have people have fun at my table and leave with an epic story saying, oh man, we did this and that happened and it was so cool. That's what keeps me going, and that's why I'm here.
And it seems like Pathfinder and Starfinder are one of the most versatile RPGs of being able to go anywhere in the world, but also being able to play whatever class, race, background you want from week to week.
Right.
And as you were saying, kind of like I've played D&D off and on over the years, and it's like, okay, once you start your character, you're committed to that character unless you want to start right back to level 1, mm-hmm. and then at that point, if the rest of your crew are higher level, then you're just the weak link that can't do anything. And it just creates a nightmare for the DM trying to rebalance the monsters to be able to not one-shot you. And it seems like Pathfinder and Starfinder is kind of where it's at these days.
Yeah, especially, again, with the organized play. You still could do the homebrew games and stuff like that.
Sure.
But with the organized game, it is open to that. Because basically what will happen in organized play is that, we should put a shout out on our Facebook group, Springfield, Missouri Pathfinder Society. Checkpoint. But we try to put out, hey, we're going to be running this session this week, and it's a tier 1-4, 1-5. And that means that at this game, you could play a character from anywhere from a level 1 to a level 5. And the game will be balanced for whatever you bring to the table.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
So, and then, you could just have fun with it. But if, let's say you play, we got a 6-7 table or 6-9 table, and all I've got is a 4th level character. Well, what we could do is, there's pre-gens that's made up. And so we just throw your pre-gen to play that week, so you can play something a little bit different again, but you still get all the advancement that you would normally get. So let's say if it was a 7-9 and we played it as a 7 table. Well, once your character reaches 7th level, poof, you get that experience, all that gear, everything you would have got if you was a 7th level player playing that. But your character can work up to that point.
Okay.
And actually, what's kind of fun about it, if you guys don't mind me going off on one of my epic stories.
Oh, go for it.
Get after it.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Kind of on that situation. One of the unfortunate things, of course, when you play any RPG is character death. I kind of like what you could do with Society, though, with character death and pre-gens.
Okay.
Going back to this first con I went to, Contemplation, it was in Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, the puns.
Yeah. No, what? I don't get it. But anyway, I played a character up there that I played in a 4th level game, 5th level game, and I didn't have a 5th level character, so they threw me a 4th level pre-gen to play, and which could be in it, and I got wiped out, character death. And they said, and I was like, well, what? I don't have a character for this. What's going to happen? They said, well, you just mark it off and you start off with another character with a different number. But can I play this character? Yeah, but you can only play it up to 4th level. And I was like, awesome. So I went back and I built a cleric. And I'm a big fan of Lovecraft, big fan of Cthulhu.
Awesome.
That mythos. So I thought,
you're in good company then.
Yeah. So I thought, well, this guy knows his own death. So he's going to be insane. So let's make him a cleric of Cthulhu. And that's how I played him through the entire time, is that he was just that verge of insanity at all times. He was, I was the, in Society play, you can't play evil characters, but I was playing that borderline the entire time. And I even sacrificed some, hey, civilian sacrifices have to happen at times. But,
Oh my god.
but I just had a blast with him, and at level 4, his character was done. But it was just part of that myth, that great thing that I could play with it. And again, that's what I love about it. And what I've really been experienced with Society and Pathfinder is that. And now with Starfinder, I'm more of a sci-fi freak than I am a fantasy freak. So with Starfinder, I'm looking at all these avenues that's going to be open with it, and I'm running with it. I've told the rest of my crew, I said, you guys can do Pathfinder, whatever you want. If there's a special I need to run, I'll run it, but I'm going to be over here doing Starfinder. You guys have fun with Pathfinder,
Nice.
I'm doing Starfinder. And then, of course, I'm still with the ACG, the Adventure Card Game. That's a blast, and I have so much fun with that. And as I've said, and now that if people hear this, they're going to go, wow, did he really say that? Sometimes I even enjoy the adventure card game more than I do the RPG side.
And that was actually something that really interested me, was when I found out that Pathfinder was also a card game, I was like, oh, this is something really new that I haven't seen before.
Yes.
And I mean, of course, I still love, the tabletop RPGs and everything, but the fact that it is an RPG in card form just blew me away.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to really check into it, because just so much other stuff, but I am going to start looking into it because it always really astounded me. And I'm like, I've got to see what this thing's about.
Yeah. The ACG, the adventure card game, is to me, can be just as versatile, deep as any RPG can get. You get a character. The characters are not linear. You can change your character around to fit your playing style. With a race and the class, you get classes. Each class have different race probably backup. Mm-hmm. It's more focused on the classes than it is kind of races. But
I would agree with that.
And you get to make your own. And what I love about it too, it's cheap. For somebody to get into, especially if you play with society, you buy a $20 deck. You've got your entire character in that $20 deck. From first level to sixth level, your character's there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And still that one deck has an infinitive amount of options that you could do to make sure that where your character, in fact, RJ have done this, and I have both done this, where we've played the same class deck and come up with completely different characters because we are playing styles. Mm-hmm. So, and what I also love about the ACG is it's a lot more cooperative. You have to be cooperative. Mm-hmm. Which a lot of times in RPGs, what you get is, I want to check out over here in the dungeon, but I want to go look over here in the tavern. I want to go pick up some beers no, with this game, you do have still a little bit of that, but it's still cooperative. You are definitely after that main mission. Mm-hmm. And 2, there's a time limit, either by cards or 2 hours. Okay. And if you don't do it within that time limit, you're done. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, the 4 to 5, 6 hour commitment that you have sometimes with an RPG each week. You go play 2 hours, boom, you're done. And it's,
Yeah, I think that may be a little bit more accessible to a lot of people as well, is that, if they've got, busy work schedules and home lives and stuff, that they can still meet for 2 hours and still get a full adventure in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I will also say some of the scenarios that they have been putting together for the adventure card game, some of them are really cool and really off of the wall. We're kind of stuck on one right now where we are in a clock tower, and you have all of your locations that you have to explore arranged in a circle. Well, every time that it gets to one particular player's turn, everybody automatically moves one location counterclockwise, and you are only allowed to move clockwise. So, So, and there's also the caveat: if you end your turn at the same location as another character, you take 1d4 points of damage that cannot be reduced. Yeah. So there is a cooperative aspect where you guys have to plan. I have to be over here. I need to be over here. On his turn, we're all going to move, and we know that the villain is here. How are we going to get out of this situation?
Yeah, so that's more of a puzzle rather than just that. And games that can do that, they can say, okay, it's not just brute force. It's not throw down all of your attack stuff and just beat phase. Yeah. Like, you have to actually solve this problem, and again, in a time limit. Mm-hmm. And I think that really brings the group together, too, of going, okay, everybody has to be on the same page, or we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And that's why I say that sometimes that I enjoy the card game more than I do the RPG, just because the intensity. Mm-hmm. Because I can't tell you, and again, RJ, playing with RJ and stuff, there's been so many times that we've gotten down, because your time limit is 30 turns or 2 hours. Damn. And there's been so many times we're down to the last 1 or 2 turns, and we're like, we're not going to make it. But somebody flips that last turn over, happens to get to the villain right there, boom, we're done. And we finished it in that last turn.
Holy crap.
And we're all wiping off the sweat off our brows at that time, going, we need to pee, brown pants, the whole bit, It's just like, geez. But it is that intense, and that's why I think it's so much fun, and I think it's a diamond in the rough, because your regular card players, they see it's Pathfinder, and that's RPG, I don't want to mess with it, and then the RPG players say, that's a card game, and I don't want to play it. I think it's the best of both worlds, all in one game, just right there.
So for somebody who is looking to get into Pathfinders, any of the Starfinder, Pathfinder type of games, would you say that the adventure card game is probably the best jumping off point for somebody who's kind of reluctant? That way they can get kind of the best of both worlds at that point, or?
Well, the way I have to say of it is that if you're a card player, yes, go into the adventure card game. If you're a role player, go into the adventure card game. That's just it. Because it's the best of both worlds. Now, if you've never played any system, yes, the card game could be a good way to get into it, to start learning the fluff and the background and all the nice little, wow, this is cool. And then another thing that I want to mention, too, that I love about the card game, that I don't think RJ has been able to experience this, though. But the card game is based off the adventure pass of Pathfinder.
Okay.
So, say, for an example, when I started playing Pathfinder, I was playing Rise of the Runelords.
Okay.
And I went through that entire path, that adventure path. Well, then they've got Rise of the Runelords in with adventure card game.
Yes.
So it was so cool for me to recognize the scenarios and all the adventures that I did from the RPG side and see them put into a card side.
That is awesome. Now, with that, did they still play out the same way, or because it was a card game version of it, did they have to tweak it a little bit?
For the most part, it ended up the same way. You still had that same goal of defeating the boss, the villain, or the main aspect. And that's something else too. Is it's not always a boss. Sometimes it's we've had a couple of events that we've had to do because there's a time that you don't. You've got to clear all the spots out. It's not that you defeat a boss. You've got to clear all the locations out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And things like that. So that's why it reminds me so much of the AP side of it, the RPG, is because it has that aspect that it goes back and forth, and I think that's really neat too. Again, and I hate repeating myself, but I think I am. Is that being able to see those scenarios match and play similar, but you can't use your experience from one to get to the other because you're playing in two different games.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and in some rare scenario cases, the reward for the card game scenario actually gives you a small boon in the Pathfinder Society on the RPG side.
Or vice versa.
Wow.
So there is a little bit of crossover, but it's few and far between, and it's just a small thing, but it can still help out.
Speaking of crossovers, I got to put this in. Each year at Gen Con, they have one huge game. And for the last 2 years, this huge game, over 1,200 people were playing the same game at the same time. And you go into this game going with different tier characters.
Okay.
You can play any level you want, and your table will affect what happens for the entire game. And it's wild to play it. But now what I'm getting at for the crossover is when they play this game, they're not just playing the RPG. The ACG is there too, playing it. And what we do on the RPG side affects the ACG. What they do on their side affects the RPG.
That is amazing.
And I think Paizo and the Pathfinder group, to play in these type of games like that is just astounding to think that you're playing in this ballroom that's bigger than a football field. And knowing that you're playing with 1,200 plus other people in the same game to reach a common goal. And knowing that you're affecting each other.
And from both sides of the aisle of being, the card game player and the actual, pen and paper version.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It is. And I'm trying really hard. This is one of my main goals, also being a captain here of this area. I have the opportunity that I can develop and run a game like this for someone in our area. And I want to. But you've got to have a good cadre of people and players to be able to do it. So please come to our Facebook group, Springfield, Missouri Pathfinder Society. You could get into this. It won't cost you a thing. We've got everything to do. All you got to do is just come to our tables, sit down. We hand you decks. We hand you paper. We hand you dice. We'll throw the dice at you if we like. And if I really like you, I'll throw my death metal at you, which is probably a 5-pound metal dice,
Oh my God.
We're like that. But yeah, and you get the opportunity that sometime I hope for game or from another con here, that I could do this large event and be able to really wow the people of this area and really see how the effect and the what can be done with the games.
That is awesome. Now, so anybody in the Springfield, Missouri area can come check it out with you guys and try it for free. See if they like it, and then if they like it, they can go buy one of those $20 decks and get their full class of whatever they want to play and join the group.
Yeah, and the nice thing too, also with the society, you have to own the core book. Mm-hmm. And if the character that you make, you are supposed to have any reference book that you make your character off of.
Okay.
But the nice thing about it is all this material, and this is another thing why I love Paizo and Pathfinder and Starfinder, they have it the open game license.
Okay.
Where you don't have to purchase it to play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all online. The Pathfinder SRD
fantastic.
is up there. So every bit of what you could do in, what I can have in any PDF or any book is available online. And you can just look it up and go for it. And that's another thing that I like about it is they have so many options for your budget. If you're a low budget player, you can't afford much, get that free stuff online. You got it. But if you need that PDF version, like, you've got a character that you're taking to a major game, and you're going to need that reference material, then buy the PDFs. $10 for a core book, $4 for a companion book. You've got the PDF. And then if you want to go as far, let's say, okay, I like physical books. Mm-hmm. Well, they've got now what's called the pocket guides. And the pocket guides, I've got one here to show off. They run $24.99, which back when I started gaming, that was the price of a regular book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's the core book. The core book, if you buy the full hardback, it's like $60.
Yeah.
So whatever your budget is, you can get into this game. And then also what you want to do, if you want to buy, if you want to just draw out your maps, they provide free maps for $14.99. Dry erase, you can make all your maps you want of it. But if you want to go as far as to make the, if you want to make a little bit of WoW, a little bit more impact, they've got the pre-printed maps you could buy, and then you could do PDFs of those. You can buy the physical copies. Again, it's just whatever budget you have, go for it. Just run with it.
And it sounds like, and that was a big problem for me wanting to get into D&D was, you had to own all these books, and especially since I was the DM, that I had to go spend tons of money on these hardbound books, and they're coming out with D&D Beyond, which is helpful, but they're also looking to charge either a monthly fee or a big one-time fee, and I'm like, I just can't do that. I don't have the budget to play the card games that I play and try to spend hundreds of dollars on books. So, not to discourage anybody from playing D&D, but it does seem like if anybody is looking for a very accessible, cheap RPG that is extremely deep and has a great community and great organized play, Pathfinder, Starfinder, and the Pathfinder adventure card game are definitely where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
And you said, and the Pathfinder Society is all across the globe. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's members all around the globe, and it's not usually that hard to find a game. Everything is listed on Paizo, and we've got all the regional organizers listed there, the venture captains, the VLs, and stuff like that. And if you're in a new area, you've got and you've played Pathfinder, Starfinder, adventure card game, all you got to do is get in contact with that local rep.
Yeah.
And, okay, where's the games happening?
Yep.
They're here. Okay, let's go. And that's another thing, too, that I always like, too, is, yes, Paizo has all their stuff out there that you can get. But also, I'm really big on supporting our local game stores. That's a big thing, because if it wasn't for our local game stores, we wouldn't be able to play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I encourage my players also, and we have ways of doing it, that if you purchase things from the store, we give you free re-rolls.
Nice.
You bring in swag from the store, free re-rolls, maybe a bonus here, bonus there, and so yes, we've got everything for free, but if you purchase it, other than the PDF, you want to buy a hard copy, go to your local game store. That's the way to get it. Support them.
So anybody who's in the Springfield, Missouri area, definitely check out the Springfield, Missouri Pathfinder group on Facebook.
Correct.
If you are not local to the area, ask around at the game stores, check on Paizo's website.
Paizo.com?
Yep.
And Paizo is Paizo.com.
Check there and get in touch with the local reps, find out where they're playing, and get in there.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you at the tables.
Yep. Definitely.
Good stuff.
So thank you guys for listening. Bill, thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Awesome.
This is definitely an experience that I'm wanting to explore a little bit more down the road. So
Same.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you so
And
much.
I thank you for you guys. People like you get the word out that we're here. This is what I'm here. Let's get the word out that this is happening. And I say anytime you guys want to chat about anything on there, just throw me a line. You guys know how to get a hold of me.
Definitely.
And we'll talk about
We
it.
will definitely keep in touch with you.
And that's really what we've always been trying to do, build that community. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
good deal.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys so much. We are Mediocre Gamers. I'm RJ.
I'm Caleb, and get out there and play some more games. Bye-bye!
Alrighty. So, that's I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Does anybody else have any closing thoughts or comments that they want to share?
Yeah, I mean, no, I know I didn't go to games, so I didn't chime in a lot there, just because I wasn't there. But fuck, man, that sounds fun. I mean, it just sounds like you got involved with the community on a level that we don't get to do just doing the podcast. I really wish I had been there. I mean, I really wish I had been there. But I did get to play some L5R, so,
Yep.
you know, yay me. But compares into how much fun you guys had to have had there. I'm so happy, Caleb, you took the reins to do this. I mean, just thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Gents, lady, this is what I'm here for. So,
Yeah, thank you so much. And you did a wonderful job from all of the organization and quarterbacking all of the shirts, helping me out with the raffle prizes, and talking with people. And this was really your brainchild, and you did a wonderful job. So, yeah. And Crimson, I really do wish that you could have joined us. I think you would have had a great time, and it honestly did not feel the same without having you there. And it would have been great to have all of us there. All four of us would have been awesome. So hopefully we'll be able to get you down here for something in the future.
definitely.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
I think
Yeah.
pre-registration for booths
And
starts
Robin,
in
my
February.
darling.
So we'll try to get pre-registered, and then hopefully that'll give you enough notice, Crimson, so that you can come down next year. Okay.
It definitely should.
And also, I have to give a
Yes.
shout out to
Oh.
Robin, because if it wasn't for her, Friday would have been a disaster just in general. The amount of effort that she had put in, the amount of shit that she fixed. I mean, she was MacGyvering our banner up in a way that blew my goddamn mind. She helped man the booth. She held down the fort when we needed her to. She helped us play games. She brought in a bunch of cute gamer boys, as she puts it. Because... And it also... I really feel that it made it less intimidating for people to come up to our booth. And I don't want to be like, because, we had a chick there. But it really is less intimidating when there is a girl there, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that also just kind of opened it up, because she's also a super sweet person, and she's very engaging with the community, and when people walk by, she talks with them, she's super nice to them. She's scoffing at me now, but for those of you who didn't get to see her in action, she was wonderful, and she was a valuable asset, and I cannot wait. Actually, I need a break after this past weekend, but I can't wait for the next one, because I know it's going to be even better. But I do also want to say that all of the effort that went into this was for you listeners, the people who came to the booth, that played with us, the people who are listening to us. It's for you, because we wanted to play games with you. We wanted to connect with you. Yes, it was great advertising for us, because all of you guys got to walk by and see us and engage with us, but it was really because we just wanted to play with you guys. We want that. We want to build that community, and we want to be in that community. So thank you all, and thank you, Robin.
You're welcome, I
Yes,
guess.
thank you so
Blush
much.
emoji.
Alrighty, folks. Well, thank you guys for listening, and I think that's going to do it. So, as always, thank all of you for listening, and do come out and check out our previous episodes at mediocregamers.com. Do keep up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter at 2mediocregamers. Chat with us on Discord at discord.mediocregamers.com. And we've got we had some technical difficulties for the past couple weeks, but those all should be fixed, so we should be able to get you guys in there and play some games with us. So we definitely encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. We are going to post some gameplay videos throughout the next couple weeks, playing some games together, so do check that out. You can find a link to our Facebook page as well as on the left-hand tab on mediocregamers.com. And as always, we'll post a link in the show notes. We are also on iTunes and the Google Play, so do come out and rate us. So thank you guys so much. We are Mediocre Gamers. I'm RJ.
And I'm Kaleb.
I'm Crimson.
And I'm Robin. Hi. Bye.
Yeah! All right, guys. And until next time, get out there and play some games.